Okay, Michael, James, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, right. Then we can start off here. I think my internet briefly back. So, all right. Good evening to everyone, and we start off today's section. We will just do a simple exercise, and then we will continue from. When you run the code, then you.
We lost most of the things you said, so if you can please repeat it.
Okay, all right. So what I'm saying is that we'll continue from today's. We'll continue on today's activity, but before we do that, we want to just test or refresh our minds on the few things that we've done previously. So what we're going to do is that chat, just pick it up, run it in your Python environment that you're using, and just send us back the results once we start off. So whilst you are doing it, today's section, we are going to conclude on the things we started yesterday. Yesterday, 3, where is it? So please, you can listen to me. Okay, so yesterday we learned about how to read and write files. So also to some things on which we have and then we on. So today we just look at encapsulation, and then we will also look at and polymorphism briefly, and look how
Please, you're waiting. He's sorting out his internet issues and you join us back.
Okay, looks like my internet is disturbing me, but notwithstanding, please continue with the work, run it, give us your results back. If it is A, just indicate. If it is B, just indicate it's on the distance. So when you finish, just put all your results back on the console. But in the meantime, whilst you are doing that, I'll share my screen when my internet went off. what we're going to do is that so this is it where yesterday we filed and writing of we look at the error handling we came to object programming. So classes and then objects where that where we looked at um, a class, how to define a class, how to reference the class variables, and then how a function within the class. We looked at it, did some queries, and then we were able to get some on that. We ran this object and then added some one or two docs to it, and then we print the results to see what was in there, any functions or that is within to see. Today we're going to just look at encapsulation as a point, but let me see if some of you have finished your query. You finished your running some of the queries. Any answers yet? No, no answer. Okay, right. We'll continue. So, okay, I'll wait 5 minutes and give us the answer. It's not to by 3. And with the lesson. So what, let's see how you go through and then run the thing. Please, are you making progress? Let's see. Yes, let's see from the participants. Anyone making any progress? Is anyone making progress on the queries that is you are running? Okay, I think time is up for all the questions that you were trying. Now we will just review those questions and then we'll see. So let's see. Please, can I get you to post your answers? Let's see. Post your answers. I want you to post your answers. Let's see. Michael and James, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Even though there are some breakages, I can hear you.
Okay, right. So, okay, that's fine. So please, the people that were, I think the queries that you're writing, I wanted to hear some feedback from them, but it looks like nobody's posting anything at the moment. All right, we will continue with today's section. Maybe if you get the answers, you put them there. We'll come and look at it later on. So we just quickly zoom into today's section. We are looking at encapsulation, and then we go back to first. We go back to our PowerPoint. Where is it? So the encapsulation when we say encapsulation, it means that it's a point where you want to restrict a certain functionality or method or variables from being accessed by any other classes or in the application. So it is within that class only that you can access that particular functionality. So it means that the first one that we designed, yesterday we looked at some method like a customer creating a customer account and the customer being able to create or deposit money and creating the person's account. Now, these ones can be accessed from outside the outside outside the class because you have created an instance of the objects and all the objects they are public by so you can actually access those values. Now the step that I want to go is that there are certain attributes of the class or methods of the class you don't want anyone to have access to. So those ones you declare them with the okay. Looks like the internet is not favoring me today, but I think we'll still go through. So we have this class we did yesterday. I think all of us we've posted this code back to you. We declare a class, and then we declare two methods: create account and withdraw. And then we created an instance of this class. So we created a customer class instance of it and assigned some variables to it. We created a second instance of it and we assigned some value to it. We created a third instance of it and assigned some variable to it. Now we printed it to C. And then we also call the methods that are within that particular class. So here is our results. First, we saw that we have Ken, Sam, and James. That was the results that we added here. This is where we printed it. And then these are the method that we've called. The next one, we have 10 created accounts successfully because we call this particular create accounts, which is it's a method in the class. And then we say we pass the name and say created account successfully. So it has manifested here, created account successfully. And then we have also come here and say withdraw money, which is also a method in the class. And then now we have also seen that results. So that's where we left off yesterday. We are going to quickly add a private function where we are going to, that means that we are encapsulating that particular function which cannot be accessed outside the class. So let's see. Okay, so a better story, I think we can use any of this function. So we have put another one called private method, and we are saying print this as private method. All right. So what we're going to do is that, let me pick the other codes in addition to it and explain. So we're going to call this class here and see. So we'll run the query to see. So this is encapsulated, and now we've been able to put it there. So what means that this will not be accessed by any other things outside the class itself. So only within it is what you're going to experience it. So this is like a private method. You cannot access it outside the class. So you do that by putting an underscore in front of it. Okay, so next thing, let's look at encapsulation. No, we've done encapsulation. Let's look at inheritance. Inheritance is like a normal word inheritance. So it means that there's a class and there's another class. So we have one class, which is a super or class to the other. So what it means is that all the attributes of the main class can be accessed in the other class that is inheriting it. So if a class A and a class B, and a class B is inheriting the attribute of class A. So let's say class A have 1, 2, 3 attributes, and then class B has 3, 4, 5 attributes. When you put them together, then when you let class B inherit class A attribute, it's going to have 1 up to 5 attributes because it has inherited the one of the A as well. So that is it. So we just pick the query and then we'll run it for us to see. So here we have, let's say, this animal class here, which is a function on its own, and then a class on its own, and then we have this dog as a class also on its own. So we have cat as also a class on its own. So what we're going to do is let me pick this, put it in here. Let me comment all the rest, and then we'll go back to. So here we see first we have declared, we've declared animal as a class, and then we have declared dog as a class, but it's inheriting animal class as well. Okay, so we have cats also as a class. Now what we are saying is that, so the animal class has name, but when you look at the dog class, it does not have any attribute called name, but it's be able to inherit the name attribute from the main class, which is animal, because it is inheriting it. And now when you print this, it will pass on the values to the animal class and get the name and print it as this. So we're going to run this code and see what results we get. Okay, let me clear the console so that you can see what results you get. So here we have done this. So the results of this will be this. So here you see body says wolf, whiskers says meow. So it means that you see the main class, which is animal, the dog has inherited. So the name has come here, which we've passed to the dog, the dog class, and then the cat class, and automatically they will inherit the name attribute and then print on it. So that's how we implement inheritance in it. I think some of these things are going to happen, especially when you are dealing with large projects that you may have to have several classes, and then you don't want to repeat those attributes in subclasses. We just use that one to inherit it or import that particular class into it, and all the variables will be available to it. I think this will be something that we're going to experience going forward. Okay. So next, what we do is we'll look at the last part of this, and then we go to the interesting part for today's section. Polymorphism is allowed different classes to treat it as an instance of a common basic class to enable flexibility and dynamic method calls. Okay, so polymorphism is one of the ways we deal with objects in a particular class. So what we do is that, let me pick this, then we explain. I don't know if there is any question, you can post it before we continue. This material has already been shipped for us to look at it on the Geospatial platform. So these codes, you already have it. So with a polymorphism, you see that here we have the normal one that we use to explain the inheritance, where it is inheriting the main caps. A polymorphism, what it means is that we define another particular method within it, which says that it's actually pulling all the classes that we've done together and saying that the animal class that is inheriting, it's able to call the function from here without going through the other classes. You see in here, we are also going to add animals to it, and then we will print the names of these animals. Automatically, it helps you to be able to access the class in different ways other than the normal ways through the classes that we have done. Okay, so in effect, these are the fundamentals that we need in Python programs. So you need to understand what you have done from day one up to today. We've looked at several concepts per the document that was shipped to us today. First is Jed started with how to write hello world. And then we went to data types, variables and data types. We went to input and outputs. We went to conditional statements. We went to loops. And then we also had something on list and indexing. We also did functions. We did dictionaries, and we did operators, arithmetic operators, comparison operators. We also did legal operators. We also look at assignment operators. We did look at membership operators, and then we look at identity operators. All these things were looked at, and then we also came to, like yesterday, we did file handling, and then we have error handling, and then we will also look at OOP today, yesterday, and today. Today, we are going to see how. Now, this is all the basics you need to be a Python programmer. The rest of them you will learn along the line. So you don't need to know everything in Python before you become a Python programmer, because the rest of them, as you get experience, you'll be able to know how to do things differently than the one you have been taught. And then you find your own comfort zone in the programming aspect. Yesterday, we asked we ask you to go and create the account on ChatGTP. Can you put in the chat? Let me know how many of you were able to do that, so that we don't go through the creation of the account part. Okay, so I think I've got one response. That's the first response we got for today. He says he was able to do it. If you have not been able to do it, the next part that we are going will be a little difficult for you. I have. Okay. I also got Stephen Okain to say he has created ChatGPT accounts. We're going to show you how you're going to leverage. If at this point you've not been able to understand even all the concepts, yes, great response. Bright, Sam, and Nana, Ochumesi. So now we can say that indirectly you are a Python programmer already, because now you know all the basic concepts you need to be able to write any Python program. That is the basics you need. Now we need to build upon this, because you're going to get complex programs and other things. So we're going to look at how you're going to leverage on other tools. So now, let's say if you give you any program to run or develop, now you look at the frameworks and other things to do. And this is same with learning any other programming language, including Java or the PHP and all of that. If you want to learn any new language, first know how the syntax is, especially the operators, the variables, the data types and all of that are the basic things you need to know of that language. And after that, what IDE will you use? So first is the IDE you use. Second is the syntax of the system, how the basics are, variable, data type, and then how the loops and other things works. Now, when you finish, that is all you need to start any language. Learn how to deploy your application to let's say for it to be able to serve your customer. If you're able to do this, the rest of the things that are within it is how your competence level will determine how better the program is going to be. So now you have the basics to write any Python program, but how do we progress from here? That is what we are going to do now. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to see. So if you have not got anything up to this point, still don't worry, because you are still able to come out with it. I'm going to switch over here and go to ChatGPT. So this is no, this is not what I'm looking for. I have chats open already. So if you also have ChatGPT, open it, and let's, if you have not logged in, log in, because me, I have logged in already. So in actual sense, this is how when you log into ChatGPT, it looks like. So this is how it looks like. This is the current version they have to do. So what you do is that when you log in, so please, can all of you log into your ChatGPT? This is tool that has been developed by some companies and industries that is being used currently. But one thing that is happening is that a lot of people believe it's going to replace programmers, but basically it's only going to replace programmers who doesn't learn how to use this. And it's going to make your work very easy, especially for those who are starting now. You should be able to do a lot of complex things with it. Even aside your programming work, this is going to be very useful, especially those that are in school. You'll be able to leverage it for a lot of your things, including school writing the report and other things. So here is ChatGPT. And what is here is a lot of things. But ChatGPT is going to give you information based on the question that you ask it. So if you go there and you ask A, it will give you the answer for A. But if you go and ask B, it will give you an answer for B. So here is ChatGPT. I'm going to use it in terms of our programming work. And then we're going to see. So let's say we started with our query distance from this. So even after this place, you go there and you still don't understand. So we started from hello world, we went to data types. So what we want to do is that now, let's say you did not understand data types as per the things that has been taught to you by Jed the other time, and then what we continue. You want to get more understanding from it. Now, most of us will definitely go to Google and do it. What happens is that ChatGPT is better refined way than Google, because when you do Google, you have to go through several pages to be able to get and put results together. But when you ask ChatGPT, it will do all that search and summarize the results and give it to you. So for now, like this, if I put, okay, I didn't understand data type as done by Jed the first day. What I'm going to do is that I'm just going to ask ChatGPT, what are data types in Python programming? So let's try that. If you have yours, write and let's see. What are data types in Python programming? And then you hit enter. So ChatGPT is looking for results from various places, and now it's giving me results now. So you see what is happening. It is going through it and it's telling me all the things. I'm just going to read through, and then we see how ChatGPT is going to do it. Great. That's written for us all that we need, and has given us a name on it. So here you will see that it says in Python, data types are classification that specify which kind of values a particular variable can hold. Data types helps Python users, Python understand how to manipulate and work with the data stored in variables. Python have several built-in data types, and you can also create custom data type using classes. Here are some of the common built-in data types in Python. Okay, right. It has given you numeric type. Represents integer number, example 5. So here, if you did not even understand the first one, here you will get more information and understand it, and then know how to use it. And then after he has explained all the data types, text, Boolean type, sequence type, mapping, set type, all those ones that was explained earlier on has been given. And now he has given you a sample of a code, and which shows how you are declaring a variable, which is an integer, and a variable which is a string, and a variable which is a Boolean. So this is how it's done. So now, if you don't understand it, you will be able to use Python, ChatGPT, to give you much further information as to how you should be able to deal with any programming like you do. So even if you want to do it with other languages, you should still be able to learn and make a lot of progress on this one. Any question up to this point? I want to see any question up to this point. Did you get it? I want some response. I want to see whether you've been able to get how to do, and those who have been able to use the ChatGPT to get its results. Can we see? Okay, so when you go, yes, please. Somebody says he's able to do it. Somebody's also asking where do you go after opening the account? So when you are creating the account, they will send you an OTP, and then you will use the OTP to create the account. When you finish, you will be able to go into the login part and then log in from there, because it will ask you to set your email will be used and your user account also will be created. You create your password yourself, and that is what you use to log in. Okay, you want a link to create your accounts. I'm dropping the link once again into the chat. Just pick it and then use it. So that's it. You can register and get accounts. The answers, so somebody is asking whether the answers are the same. The answers may not be the same. If you type the same thing, it may not even give you the same. So here, he has given me a response. I can say regenerate. Let's try that one and see. If I regenerate, it will give me a different response. So there's a possibility that to the same question typed by different people can give them different answers, because it's searching through the thing and it's giving you answers based on it. And then how you type your this thing to your question will also inform which data it will present. So let's go to regenerate and see. The same question that we are asking it to regenerate the response. So let's say it has generated for us, but we don't like the response that we have seen. We'll just go here and say regenerate. So now it is writing for us a different thing. So you see that the wording even at the top has even changed. So he has even reformed some of the sentences used up there, but some of them I think over here the same, but it may not be the same for all of us. You see the example that is giving us has even changed. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. I'm going to put it on the Ghana Geospatial platform soon. Or administrators, Sam and Mike, if you can drop it on the distance for them. If they can't pick it from here, they can get it from the distance. You can't find it in the chat. Okay, so the facilitators will put it also on the listing. We'll put it also on the WhatsApp page. Okay, please, can you make clear the difference between a tuple and a list? Okay. Those who said you don't have the link, do you have it now? Please, I've put it also on the Ghana Geospatial website. WhatsApp page, so you can pick it from there. Okay, so it says it's okay. I have a question here, which says that, please, can you clear the difference between a tuple and a list? So now, for all of you who are going to get some of these questions, you may finish this training, but your knowledge seeking on this and any other programming language and other things should not cease. So now this is a tool we have given you. So the question that you put there, I'm going to put it in that chat, and then we're going to see what response you get, and then that will be your answer. Okay, so here you put the same question there. It says, please, can you make a clear difference? Okay, let's difference this up. Clear difference between a tuple and a list in Python programming. So it's writing, I'm going to write a response for us. Okay, so whoever asked the question, this is your answer. Are you okay? I think the coding part should be able to answer your question. So who was that? Thora, are you okay with it? Yes, okay, he says he's okay with it. That's great. So it means that now there's nothing that should stop you from becoming a Python programmer that you deserve to be. So now all the questions that you have, just go to ChatGPT and then put there. There are some different things that it may not give you. Let's say you have to customize and put some things or put some errors to put a certain logic on it. That's ChatGPT that cannot give you. You can get a general one, modify it to understand it, to suit what you want. So now that you've been able to do this, now the next thing that we're going to do is, now you have asked a question as to how the general things is. You'll be able to get it. So now, let's say I want to write a program to calculate income tax in Python, and somebody has given me that project to do. What I can do is that is how, well, you see now, the only thing that Python will not be able to teach you directly is basically how we are going to set up your environment. Let's say how we set up the VS Code and that. It can give you idea to do it. But that one you need to have, and then with experience, you'll be able to understand it better. So now what you do is that if you have set your environment, everything is okay, and you are writing code, arranging your code and your files and other things, it can give you idea, but you have to do it yourself. But when it comes to the content and you are doing something and you face issues, you can quickly go here and put the code, some response there, and it will give you. So let's say we can go and ask questions about, what if I want to do this? Can you write a Python program, Python code for me for that? And the system will write a Python code for you. So let's say we want to do some mapping activities, or let's start it from a lower level. Let's say we want to write a Python program to calculate income tax. Okay, so what you do is that you can come to Python, your ChatGPT, and write a Python program. It's very unfortunate today we have less numbers here, because today is one of the critical moments that you need to learn this to make progress. I think this video will still be available for them to have a look. So write a Python program to calculate income tax. So now I will just hit enter. Let's hear what this can have for us. So there you have it. It has written the program for you. It has given you an description of how your destiny. So in effect, this one, it says calculating income tax can be complex tax as it depends on various factors such as income, deduction, and tax breaks. So even if you don't understand it, so from now going, if anybody wants to give you project in Python, don't tell him that I don't know how to program in Python, because you can have an idea. They will tell you what you're supposed to do. You derive your value from it and write what they want the program to come. But even if you don't have any idea about income tax at this moment, now it has given you income tax, how income tax is calculated. And the next day you can go back to your client and tell them how you want them to be, and then they can correct you and help you to be able to refine it to suit their purpose. So now here it has just written for me a function to calculate income tax. So here he has defined all the tax brackets where you fall in, all of that, and then how the calculation of the tax itself is. And then when you here, it will do an input where it extracts your income, and then it will put the values in there, and then it will put it and then calculate the tax based on what you have in there. Let's see whether this code is going to run. So now I'm going to comment all the things that we've done here. Okay, so we've checked there's no error. There's some few this thing in it. So let's see. Let's run our Python file. Okay, so here it is asking me of my income. All right. Or better still, let me clear the screen so that I can see it. Okay, that's coming here. So now there's an input asking me of my income. Let's say my income is 10,000 cedis. I'll put it in there. Now it has calculated my tax for me. It says that your income tax is 0 point something. So that's an error in there that you need to tax. So after you brought it in this one, the general framework of your program has been established. Now you need to tweak it to actually give you the results that you deserve. So if there are any changes, especially the tax bracket that has been given to you here is not fine, then you take it to a different thing. Or let's say this one, I think because it's a, let's run the Python program again. Let's see, let me give it 200. Oh, sorry, wrong place. 200. So I think it's still coming wrong. There's no value, it's 0. Okay, it is still right because the first bracket is no. So let's increase the value of the tax that we are seeing. So let's say 10,000. So now the tax has been calculated. See now that if you are taking 30,000 cedis, it's because the tax bracket that is saying put here says that if you are between 0 and 10,000, I think it's not taking anything from you, it's 0. If you are between 10,000 and 30,000, it gives you this kind of tax rate. If you are within this, it gives you this kind of tax. So you need to understand this and then make that manipulation to get your results. So now we have been able to successfully write a script to do it with less effort. In the olden days, when you are supposed to write a Python code, you will figure all this thing by yourself. But now somebody just writing and giving a framework. If you don't know how to even create input and other things, he has done all of that for you. All you need to do is pick it and run it, and then you'll be able to put your code in there and then move on with it. So okay, so I think I have some questions in the chat. Okay, I think this one Bright said yes. Okay, that's it. Let's go to QA. Q&A is also been resolved. Right. Any questions up to this point? Those of you who are creating the account, have you been able to create the account? Okay, so it looks like now we understand, and then you know how to use it. One other thing that you can use ChatGPT to do is, let's say you have seen a code, but you don't understand. Great, okay. Red one to say his account has been created is new now. Red one, confirm for us if you can type some question there and get response. Today, I've not heard anything from, is she in Mary? Are you here? Have you been able to do it? Okay, Red One says he's been able to be able to type something and get it. So now what means that you can get a lot of things in there and then run it yourself and see. Now that is what we're going to do. But one more thing that is very important that you need to know about ChatGPT is that for as developers, we can still also say, let's say you've seen a code, you don't understand. Yesterday, somebody picked this question. Yes, pick it thereafter, and then I wanted us to. Okay, we'll come back to this one later. Where is it? The other one. Okay, so now for ChatGPT, now we are going to ask, there's a code. Let's say we have this code, but we don't understand what it does. We want to understand it. So what you do is that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to ask ChatGPT whether he can explain this Python code for me. And then he will ask me, okay, what is the Python code? Then I'll copy this code and put it there and then see whether it can explain that code for me. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy this. And I'll go to my ChatGPT console and then put it in. So this ChatGPT. Can you explain this Python code for me? I'll hit enter. Okay, it is actually picking the code from up there, which is not what we want. So this actually is explaining what is written up there. In case you don't understand the code, it is breaking it down for you. But that's why you know what we want. We'll go back to it and then do that. But in case you really want to understand what is up there, the ones that he wrote this query, you understand, it is explaining everything line by line for you, and then you'll be able to understand and make changes. So there's nothing that stops you from becoming a Python programmer now. And we expect you to go and do exploits in wherever institution that you are with this knowledge that you've gotten. Okay, so now it has explained everything for us, which is very amazing. So in case, let's say you don't even understand anything of all the things that you wrote here, it has given you step by step all the things it wrote, and you understand every value that he has put in there, and you can make modifications and see. Okay, right, he said, right, kindly remove this one. What? I'm going to do that. I'm just going to put it on a different chat and then we'll see. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, in order to make it very simple for ChatGPT or nothing, I just create a new chat, okay, and then I will put the question there again, right? So it will ask me. So now it is going to wait for me to put the question there. Now I'll go and pick my question there and then come and put it there. So it is explaining to me the Python code that I put in there. So there's no way you can say I don't understand anything. Now it has breakdown. You can, at your convenient time, be able to find, is it Pious Sam? Looks like, look familiar. I don't know whether it is Pious Sam from SMD Lands Commission. Okay, so here is it. So I asked him whether he can explain this code for me. He says, of course, I'll be happy to help explain Python code for you. Please provide the code you would like me to explain, and I will do my best to break it down for you step by step. Okay. Then the next thing comes in where I put the code in there. Now he picks the line of code and say, the line of Python code you provided is used to open a file, name, new file. I just put in the code that we wrote yesterday, just one line in it. In append mode, here is a breakdown of the code. This with open new file A as file with statement. So it's explaining every single line and every single item that is in there. So when you finish this, it means that you will fully have an understanding of how the code that is in there. Even somebody has written a code, let's say you've gone to a company, somebody has written a code and left, and you seem not to understand the logic, you can just bring some of the code in here and it will give you breakdown and give you the understanding, so that if there are modifications that you need to make to that particular program, you'll be able to make it with ease. Okay, I think that's the senior man that I was looking for. All right, that's great. Okay, so that's basically what is on ChatGPT. There's a lot in there, and you can actually figure out lots of things out by going around it and seeing how to go about it. So as of now, all the things that we have learned, if you want to come and ask ChatGPT again, it will explain everything for you to understand it more perfectly as you want at your own convenient time. Any question up to this point? Any difficulty as at this point on any of the things that I provided? Okay, Michael, if there's no question, I think we might have to progress. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm just going to do an eye-opener of developing web applications in Python. And then from tomorrow, we will make use of ChatGPT to help us to be able to write some of the code ourselves. Write the code for us, we will rearrange. But now we're going to do how to install Python. I'm going to use VS Code. I'm going to show you how to install Python in VS Code. You can also use PyCharm. Some of them who are very serious know how to use PyCharm already. You can use PyCharm to do it, but I have all those installed. So on my environment, I have Sublime, I have VS Code, I have PyCharm, I have IntelliJ, and then what else again? And some other tools that I used based on which language I may be writing. So what we're going to do is that, and then those of you who also uses Eclipse. I think Eclipse also have a plugin, yes, that you can use that to do that. So now what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to VS Code. Unless there's any other question on this, I'm moving on from here to writing Python. So what we're going to do is that we're going to write a hello world. We're going to write how to set up a Django application. There are other frameworks. So it's a framework that you use to develop web application in Python. So there are other frameworks like Flags, Fast API, and all of that. They are there. So you can also explore your knowledge on it. But what we are going to do in this particular program is Django. So we're going to go straight into it, and then we're going to see how to go about it. So now what we're going to do is that I want all my Django projects to be at one place, and then we will start the basics. So as of today, what we're going to do is that we're going to install Django. If your internet is very fast, you can install. If not, then you can do it later on and come tomorrow with it. We will see how the Django structure is. And then we will see how to just run your first Django project in your console. And then from there, you'll be able to run it and see it in your browser, and you will end there. Tomorrow we will look at more details of how you can just put the application together. So here is where I'm going. Any other question? Any question at this moment? Any question?
Your mic is muted, John.
Oh, sorry. I think I was speaking. All right. So thank you, Mike. So what I'm saying is that I created this folder here in my document. So you can also put it anywhere you want it, whether if you're using Windows, your Drive C or whatever. If you're using Mac, you can put it on your desktop, you can put it on your downloads, you can put it on your document, wherever you find it convenient, you can put it there. So now I'll open a fresh, or you can open a fresh VS Code. And then what you do is that you're going to, most of you have not installed Django. So what we're going to do, the first query that we're going to put in there is for Django. We're going to install Django on it. So if you have installed Python, I think it's going to install some fundamentals for you. So what we're going to do is that we're going to need a terminal to do that. So when you see on top of this, on my Mac Windows, you will see it. But if it is Windows, you will see it here. We have File, edit, selection, view, go, run, and then you have terminal. You click on it and you go to new terminal. So, but before we continue with it, what we need to do is that let's open the folder we created. I click on it, migrate, I move to my documents. It was Django, so I press D. You can locate your own. Django P1, this is mine. You can locate your own and open it. It has closed my terminal. I'll open my terminal again. Any question up to this point? Am I moving fast or it's okay? So we're going to download the Django. We're going to download the Django within the VS Code. So don't worry about getting the download link. Okay, so somebody is asking whether I can use Sublime to do it. Currently, I've not installed it with Sublime before. What I've done is I've been able to install it with PyCharm and then with VS Code. So maybe you can check with other developers or you can check from other YouTube to see whether you can use, how you're going to use it to do it in Sublime. So this is PyCharm. If you want to install PyCharm, you can install PyCharm. PyCharm is almost same as IntelliJ, and it has so that one is also, if you're using PyCharm, it's also very easy because PyCharm was done most of the for Django activities, so it makes it very easy to deal with it, PyCharm in your development in Python applications. It makes it far easy. And so now what we do is that I'm going to use VS Code. So here's what I'm going to do. So now what you do is that if you want to install this, I have a code there. I'll just pick it and put it for you so that you don't have to worry yourself too much about. So the Django development, let's go here. So we want to install Django. So this is what we're going to use to install Django. But before we install Django, what we're going to do is that we're going to check which version of Python, check whether even Python is installed on your desktop. So Python 3, sure. So you know that you are using Python 2, but I think the current one is Python 3. And if you want to know whether Python is actually installed, because we're going to build Django on top of Python. If Python is not installed, it will not be able to run for you to be able to move on. But those of you who have been able to write the code and test it, it means that you have Python installed on it. So mine is Python 3.97, which is installed on my machine now. So now what I'm going to do is that we're going to do this. Pip install Django. I'm putting on the charts here. Pip install Django. PIP install Django. So pip is actually is a package manager which helps you to install other in a lot of things from Python on your machine. So I'll put it inside. Is pip install Django. Mine version here, I have already installed it, so it will not. I think it's let me try install again and see what happens. Okay, it is already installed, so it will not install again. Python Django has already been installed on my machine, so if you don't have it, you can install it now. Let's see. Signal me if you have been able to install some. Those of you who have been able to install, let me know. If you've been able to install Django. So just type in pip install Django. Or basically, you can also use a terminal to do it. Those of you who want to use Sublime, what you can do is that go to your terminal, or you can go to your, those who are using Windows, you can go to command prompt, or you can go to run and type CMD to open your command prompt. You type the Python version to find out whether there's Python installed on your machine. If it's installed, do the pip install Django in there, because this terminal that we are doing is like any terminal that is in any program, just that VS Code has embedded this terminal in the VS Code environment for us to run. So it's actually the normal environment on your machine. So now when you do this, you can install. And when you create the project, you can go and open it. So here, for those of you who want to use a terminal, or you want to use Sublime, what you can do is that, I've seen somebody ask that question. You can go here and type terminal. On Windows, you can go to command prompt and open your command prompt. Here, I can also do same, which is one plus. Okay, so what it do is that I can do this. I want to do this. What I will do is I will just go here, Python. I'm not in VS Code. Python 3 version. So dash version. So it's here, it's the same thing that is as in the distance. So if you have other command prompts, you can do it. So those of you who are using Sublime, you don't have any issues. What you need to do is that just go to command prompt and type this in there. And then the Django pip install too, you put it there and you install. It will also give you the same concept as you have in there, and it will install if it has already been installed already. So now what you do is that we are already, because we open the folder in this one, Django _ P1, it automatically will seed in or move into that folder. What it has done is that in this environment, everything that we are going to execute here will go into that folder. But those of you that are not in the folder, where is it? My terminal. I close it. Okay, so that's fine. Those of you that are using Sublime and using the command prompt to do it and then open it, what you need to do is you have to CD into your environment. Okay, some people are getting error. Okay, so those who are getting warning, I think that's one you can upgrade later. Yeah, somebody is getting error on that, the fact that there's an upgrade of pip version that is using. That one can upgrade it later. Whilst you are learning this, let's learn it with this one. So far as it doesn't give you error, let's learn with this one. When we finish, then you can go and update it as well. So upgrade it. So somebody is also asking, he's using Sublime. He didn't get the full explanation before we finish. Okay, so what it means is that if you are using Sublime, let me try this way. So Sublime is here. Let me get a new version of Sublime. Sometimes I don't do my programming in this time with Sublime. So what you do is that here, let's see whether you have a command tool for it. So if you don't know what you can, if you know it, you can check, use it. But if not, you can use a normal. So what you do is that, let me give you, if you don't have VS Code installed and you are using Sublime, open your terminal and do all the things that we are doing in the console in the terminal. When you finish, you can use Sublime to open that folder. Okay, so here, let's say you can do your Python dash version. Sorry, strong version. Python 2 is wrong. So it will show you the version that you are using. Django pip install to, you put it here, you do it. When you finish that, then what you do is that we are going to do a second command where we create the Django project itself. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we'll copy the code to come and install. So we have a finished install. So for us to be able to, let me take this to the, where will it be more visible? Let me put it here. So here we have what we call Django-admin start project name. So what this one is saying is that you are going to create a project of Django projects. So you'll be doing this most of the time, and most of these things may require internet. So if you don't have internet, you will not be able to do most of them. So Django admin start projects in the project name. So let's say this is day 4. So our project name will be pro_day 4. It's our project name. So that's what we're going to do. You do this, and then we will go and put this in the terminal. So those who are using Sublime that you are using there, you can go to your terminal and put it there. All right. But before you do that, CD in. So CD means that you are changing directly. You are moving from one folder to another. So which folder you have created? You created a folder earlier on. You can move that thing into it. So I can say CD/ on Mac is a little different from on this thing. So if it is Windows, you can do C. If it's your on C:/ and then you put it in there. Mac is so Mac, if in case you don't know the distance, that's what you can just do. That go to where your folder that you are dealing with is. So mine, in case of mine, I think it's in document, and then this is here. So I can just right click on this and get info. When I get info, I get the information here. I can copy my path here and then go and put it in this. So I'm changing directly from where I am currently, which is the root of my folder. I'm going to user.this.document, but that is not a folder I want to create it in. It is /Django _ P1. Is a P small s P1. So now I am on Django _ P1. It means that I'm in that folder at the moment. This shouldn't be a difficult thing, and don't fear this, because those of you who are going to be programmers will be seeing some of this and you have to learn it. So Django P1, and then we do it there. So now for my terminal, here is it. I'm already, because I opened that folder, I'm already in that folder. And those of you, I've brought you to the same level. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pick my code, which I'm going to put the same thing in the chat for you. So those of you who want to pick it, you can pick it from there. Django admin, start projects, day 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here and I'm going to run. I'm going to just hit it. So now what it means is that you see that if you look at your right-hand side here, you will see that project day 4 has opened. It has been created. Now, those of you who are using Sublime, what you can do is that here, I have a new, what I'm going to do is, where did the Sublime go? Okay, so let me open a new Sublime and use it. So now, Sublime, you have been able to finish creating your project if you have executed a command, which is Django admin start project pro_day 4. What you do is that now you can go and open your projects. What you do is you go here, you go to open, and then you go to, mine was at the user, the name of the user, my documents, where is it? My documents. my documents. Where is it? My documents is here, and then I have the Django. Is it? Django 1, and then now when you go there, you see the project there, you click on it and click open. So we have now the project in Sublime, and you can continue with us if you are in Sublime. So somebody has an issue with PyCharm. He says he's using PyCharm. PyCharm is the most easiest for installing Django. So what is that? If you have PyCharm, this is PyCharm. So what I will do is that there's what we call a package, Python packages, okay? That's the most easiest. When you click on Python packages, you will type what you want there. Let's say I want Django. So all the other things, if you want a Flask, you go there, you see Flask, you can click on it and then click on install. If you want Django, which I've already installed on this thing, so Django, it tells me that Django is here. If I want to install Django, I can go here and click on Django, and it should be able to install Django for me if you are using PyCharm. Are you okay? So I think everybody should be on the same page at this moment. Yeah, our time is almost up. So let's go through this. So now if you have this, this one, you posted something, but I can't get you. Can I get can you post again? I don't get it properly. So just send it again. So now with our VS Code, what we do is that now we've created a project. The project has a structure which shows this. It has the project 4, and then the manager, which is a console for all the configuration in there. We will explain this tomorrow at what you have in there. And then there are also init .py, the ASGPY, the settings of PY, the URLs of PY, and then the SDIPY, and then the manage also comes in there. So this is by default, every empty Django project they're going to do will give you this. And from there, that is where you put your creativity on to develop your projects. What I want us to do is that today we are not going to dive into it. We will do that tomorrow to give us. Okay, when I finish all the script that I executed, I'll send it to all of you to you here, and then you can pick it up. So now that you have finished, that you have created a project in it, we just need to see our projects. Now the project can be viewed in a browser. So indirectly, you are also a web developer for Python projects. If you have been able to get this stage, because now you've been able to make it. I'm going to add, let's say, if you want a database attached to this, what you use that I'm going to add by default. I'm going to add by default an SQLite code database into this. So what I'm going to do is that I'll just this is what I'm going to do. If you want to initialize the database on it, what you do is that you execute this code, which is and those of you are in listen using the Sublime, you can be doing all of these things in your console or your terminal or your command prompts. So now what I'm doing is that I'll just go here, put a code here. The code says that Python manage.py make migrations. So we will execute that. What it's going to do is that it's going to okay, so I'm getting an error because we have to CD in. We are not in the project yet. We are still on the first project that we did. That is the Django.p1, which is the main project that we've done here, the main folder that we have here. But for this to work, we should be able to go in there. It's looking for this file to run the command on, but this file is in the folder that is in the it's in the folder, a subfolder of this one. So we have to cd in. So I'm going to do cd or change directly, change cd, then I'll do pro underscore day 4, and then I'll hit enter. Now I have cd in. If you are here, you see that I am gone into that particular folder, and you see it here. So I'll clear the screen so that it becomes simpler. So I'm in day 4. Now I put my code back, and then I will enter again. Now it has done that by initializing the database. Now you see my SQL here, which is now empty. I'm going to execute the next code to initialize that database, which we're going to use for our project going forward. So now what we have is that we'll do Python, which is manage py, which is the file in this, and then we have to do the migrate. So now what you do is we go back there, and then we will execute this code. Python py dot manage py dot migrate. So now it's going to pick and it populate all the information, the initial information we need to run our Django admin and all of that by default. So now you are almost there with your enabling or creating a Django web application. So we have about one more step. I think we'll do this one later. Let's take it off. So now you have finished setting up your projects, and then now you are almost a web developer. One more line and we are there. So now what you do is that we are going to run our application that we have done. What we've done is that first we have created a project. Now we have been able to initialize a database on it. Now we're going to see whether we can see our project in the browser. So now for it to be able to run your application, you're going to use this one, Python manage py.run server. So I hit on it. Okay, so I've already running a Python project already. The port that is going to use by Python by default is port 80. So what I'm going to stop the initial project that I'm using to do, and then I will come back. So let's see. Right. I was running it here. Yeah. Okay, so let's Control C. Okay, now I've successfully, let me close this one. Okay, so now I'm going to do again. I'm going to do Python manage.run server again, and then I'll hit on it. So now it has run it, and now we are officially been able to develop we have initialized and set up a web application. Now the rest of the things as to how you're going to manage your application is up to you and whatever you want to do with that project. So now it is saying that this HTTP localhost or 127.0.0.1:8000 is where our application is running. So now when we click on this or we copy this and put in your browser, any of the browser that you're using. Okay, so let's see, you put it here. You see that, yes, our application is running. We have successfully installed Django and run it. So now you have been able to initialize and write your first web application. The rest of the customization you're going to do to your application will depend on what your requirements are and what you want to do with the application. This is where we got to today. Any questions? And then if there are no questions, I think we can bring today's section to a close. Some say you couldn't install Django. So I intentionally did this up to this point, and then we left it there. So if we are supposed to go on, maybe some of you may not have Django and other things. So we're giving you today, we just go there, deal with it, and look at how to resolve the Django issues and other things. And then by the time we come tomorrow, maybe all these issues has been resolved. I'm pushing back this code, the query, the things that we have done here on for you, so you can pick it up and use. Let me see some of your comments. Yeah, some comments from here. I couldn't install Django. Please, can you help me with the PyCharm installation for Django? Okay, I think that one is what we did. Okay, so the PyCharm installation, we'll look at it. Let's finish this one. Maybe you can have you can put your question back on the platform. We'll help you with alternatives, and then a version of PyCharm that you are using also counts. So error pop-ups. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Oh, who is that one? Fuseni. Then today you miss a lot too, because for me, I think today's session is one of the most important than all the things that we've done before, because today we are giving you, there's a door you need to enter. You can enter by knocking and then open you. You can use your key to open, and you can enter by force by breaking the door. But today we have given you the key. We're giving you keys to be able to unlock all the values that you're becoming a programmer, either by Python or other things, which we have gone through already. But the video is available, so you can go through the video. If you have any other issues, post it on Geospatial platform, and then we come and answer it. If there's any other thing to, please join tomorrow early. We'll just do a recap, and then we will continue from there. Okay, it says using Sublime, couldn't install it. Right. Okay, so the Sublime people, I think, I don't know, we use Terminal. I don't know. I will also ask Jed, who also uses Sublime in his Python programming. If he has knowledge, tomorrow I think I will get him to come and then explain how to do that for you guys here, so that you can continue from there. If I also get it, I will look at it this evening, possibly give you some. If Jed is not able to come tomorrow, I will come back and then help you out with it. So I think basically that's all that we can. Yes. You can use PyCharm to create projects. So with a PyCharm like this, where do we have it? PyCharm, if I want to install Django, I can just go install Django. So the Django version that I want to install, and I will install. Let's say install Django 4 point something, and you click on it. It's downloading. So you see here, you see that Django is installing on Python 3.8. So if Django finishes, I can also use the console to be able to run and create Django projects. So Django, you can go to create new projects. So here you have a lot of packages that you can use to create your own environments, which includes, let me get a console and see where it's console. Yes, Django installed. Okay, Django is installed. That's a package has been done. Okay, so what I'll do is that tomorrow I'll try and then get you. Alex, the time is up. It's 9 o'clock. I will check on how to use the various environments to do it, so that those of you who are using it and you're comfortable with it, you'll be able to use it to set up your projects. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So tomorrow we'll give you PyCharm version, and then let's say a Sublime version, so that you all come to the same thing. So the video link, I think the facilitators will help us with it. Michael and then James will help you with the video, those who are looking for the video. And I think it's on Ghana Geospatial YouTube channel. live, and after here you can also get it. So basically, we get a copy of the video. So learn it and then get back to us if there are anything that you are finding difficulties doing. Okay, so basically, I think we are done for today. Tomorrow we'll meet, God willing, to complete the other section that you have. Anything from our facilitators, James and Michael?
No, please.
Okay, so on that note,
It's in the chat.
Okay, I think the link is in the chat at the moment, so you can pick it up and then use it. So thank you all for coming for today's section. We are grateful for showing up interest in the program that we are running, and we hope to see you tomorrow to continue. Thank you very much.